I've got a bunch of very interesting stories that I wanted to share with you, too. And in the second hour of our program, Art Lipson, who's a member of the Patriotic Millionaires, patrioticmillionaires.org is their website, was at Jason Chaffetz's town hall. He's going to be with us. And in our third hour, Sheriff Richard Mack, the founder of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and a member of the board of directors of the Oath Keepers movement, is going to be in the studio with us. Sheriff Mack has been with us before. I believe he was part of the group of sheriffs who met with Donald Trump earlier in the week, so that will be interesting. Meanwhile, just some quick kind of news stories, as it were, of the day. This from the DeSmog blog by Steve Horn. Donald Trump names industry lobbyist and climate science denier Mike Catanzaro as top White House energy aide. Greenwires reported that climate change denier Mike Catanzaro, a lobbyist for oil and gas companies Noble Energy, Devon Energy, Encana Oil and Gas, American Fuel, and petrochemical manufacturers, and Hess Corporation, will soon become a top energy policy aide for President Donald Trump. A source close to the Trump administration told Greenwire, quote, "This is likely to be the most influential domestic energy policy position within the White House and will comfort industry and conservatives who view him as a champion for free market energy and environment policy." In other words, you know, he's dancing to the tune of the petro billionaires. I mean, it's just a really easy way to say it. Over at Politicus USA, this I thought was just absolutely fascinating. Well, actually, this got retweeted. I just now looked at the date on this. This is from 2014. This is from 2.5 years ago. Mitch McConnell, in a leaked tape, Mitch McConnell admits the Koch brothers are running the Republican Party. Jason Easley wrote this on August 27, 2014. McConnell opened his remarks by saying, "And I want to start by thanking you, Charles and David, for the important work you're doing. I don't know where we'd be without you." And then Easley goes on to say the main topic of his speech was Citizens United and how the wealthy and corporations should control our elections. That's Mitch McConnell's speech. In fact, here's what he said. He said, the Supreme Court allowed all of you to participate in the process. That would be the election process. He's talking all of you being the Koch brothers and their network of about 550 fellow billionaires and multimillionaires. He said the Supreme Court allowed all of you to participate in a process in a variety of different ways. You can give to the candidate of your choice. You can give to Americans for Prosperity or something else, a variety of different ways to push back against the party of government. That would be the Democratic Party that actually believes the government can do something useful. The Republicans think that we should simply turn everything over to the billionaires, right? Yeah, to the extent that you destroy government, to the extent that you cut back government, to the extent that you make government smaller, what happens? The influence and power of corporations and the very, very rich increases. So, of course, they're going to say we need smaller government. Of course, Grover Norquist is going to say, I don't want to destroy government. I just want to shrink it down to the size where I can drown it in the bathtub. Easley goes on to say the GOP is a Koch organization and Koch organized and funded operation. The Koch set the agenda, and if Republicans take back the Senate, which, by the way, they did, this is 2014, the American people will have given control of the Congress to the Koch brothers. Yep. Sure enough. Meanwhile, you've heard about the fiduciary rule. This is a rule that the Obama administration put forward via the Labor Department because it has to do with people in the workplace, that is to say, investment counselors and advisors, which says that if you take your 401k and you hire an investment advisor to help you, to advise you on to how to invest it or to invest it on your behalf, that they have to work in your interest first and their interest second. So if there's one, say, mutual fund that, you know, pays a 2% commission to the investment advisors and only pays you 1% versus another mutual fund that might pay only 0.5% commission to the investment advisor but pays you 2%, they have to tell you the difference between those two things. This is the fiduciary rule. Hey, you know, I would suggest that you buy the XYZ mutual fund, although I have to admit that I make a bigger commission and you'll make less money. I mean, that's the law right now, that they have to do that. They're fighting this tooth and nail. And the Trump administration has already, Donald Trump, I believe, signed an executive order saying take this thing out. If he hasn't, then he's pushing one. But I'm pretty sure. And here, this Sarah Lynch writing over at Reuters. A U.S. federal judge on Wednesday upheld an Obama-era rule designed to avoid conflicts of interest when brokers give retirement advice, and a possible setback for President Donald Trump's efforts to scale back government regulation. Again, regulation is simply a word that means consumer protections, by and large. The stinging 81-page rule comes just days after Trump ordered the Labor Department. Say, yeah, okay, there was your executive order. This comes just days after Trump ordered the Labor Department to review the fiduciary rule, a move widely interpreted as an effort to delay or kill the regulation. The decision by Chief Judge Barbara Lynn for the U.S. District Court of Northern District of Texas is a stunning defeat for the business and financial services industry groups that had sought to overturn it. It could make it more difficult for the Labor Department to find a way of justifying scrapping or significantly altering the rule. This is the second time a federal district court has upheld the fiduciary rule. I would add a third court, meanwhile, rejected an effort to stay the rule's implementation. So, if that rule is gone and you have any kind of retirement funds and you have any kind of active management of it, any investment advisors, whether it's the guy working at your bank or it's the guy working, or man or woman working at what do they call those things? The Fidelity and, all those other kinds of companies that, wealth management companies. That's a good one, Troy. Anyhow, if you're doing that, right now they have to invest in your interest. Well, actually they don't. The rule is supposed to go into effect in either March or April. So soon they will have to act in your interest. Right now they can rip you off without even telling you. And in fact, one of the things that we learned last year when the Obama administration put this rule into place, or proposed this rule, it goes, as I said, it goes into place next month or the month after. One of the things that they found was that the average person who puts money into a 401k at the age of 30, by the time they're 65 and retire, or can start drawing it out, they will have lost over $100,000 to these investment advisors in fees, commissions, and all that kind of, and not just the investment advisors, I mean, to the funds themselves. It's a racket. It's a gamed system. And finally, well, not finally, I mean, I still have, an inch-thick stack of stuff I want to share with you, but we'll sprinkle it throughout the show. This from The Guardian today. Revealed, FBI terrorism task force investigating Standing Rock activists. The subhead, FBI representatives have contacted several water protectors, raising alarm that an indigenous-led movement is being construed as domestic terrorism. This is by Sam Levin in Cannonball, North Dakota. He says the FBI is investigating political activists campaigning against the Dakota Access Pipeline, diverting agents charged with preventing terrorist attacks to instead focus their attention on indigenous activists and environmentalists. And then, when they contacted the FBI and said, what's going on, they declined to comment. So it's just getting stranger and stranger.